Hit that sub button, hit that like button. Try and hit that 50K goal this month. Let's get into it, baby. Johnny Somali is finally going to prison. Let's see the
All right,
tea.
you're hearing
Come
it
on now.
first from me on X here that we got out of the trial for Johnny Somali, and we have good news. He is sentenced to prison with labor, 6 months and 20 days with labor. All of his possessions were confiscated. He has offender status for 5 years in Korea.
Over the past couple years, commentary channels such as myself have been giving warnings to these content creators who are nuisance streamers going to especially different countries, you know.
Shout out to bro right here. He doesn't necessarily like reaction channels and shit like that, but it is what it is because I fuck with bro.
Disrespecting their land, disrespecting their
Shout out to
people,
bro, he makes good
disrespecting
videos.
sacred statues and monuments. Those warnings were always ended with, hey, you don't know what's coming to you. You need to be careful. You need to pick a new lane, etc., etc. But that didn't matter for some of these content creators. They pushed the button and pushed the button and pushed the button until the button pushed back. And that's exactly what content creator and nuisance streamer Johnny Somali is now facing. The button has pushed back on him and it has slammed the jail doors shut. He is now set to be sitting in a labor prison. Them other countries don't play with you for an extended period of time and a myriad of other punishments. But all of this could have been avoided if he would have heeded our warning.
Like labor prison means you work for them, however long they want you to work too. Them other countries ain't like the United States where they give a fuck about people in jail and shit. They do not care, bro. Your ass is grass. You get fucking caught over there, and you're American. You're gonna be in there. Take this for example. What's scarier? You go to jail in the United States where everybody speaks the same language, maybe a couple people don't, or you go into another country where everybody speaks a different language. Well, your ass is grass,
this
son.
can also be avoided for other content creators if they take this as a serious example. If you're new to this and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's gonna go a long way for the channel and the community. Don't put those subscriptions on Johnny Somali's books. He's not gonna have any use for them. Put them on my books. Subscribe and put your subscriptions on my books. Now, back into the video. I think on this channel I've covered Johnny Somali before, but he is one of those people that we consider to be a nuisance streamer. The Jack Dohertys of the world, the Neons at one point of the world, Vitali, all these other streamers that go around and make other people the apple of their content by, you know, antagonizing them, poking and prodding them, and ultimately getting them hyperactive by harassing them.
What the fuck's your problem, mate? You came here and Johnny's pissed off Japanese people.
Okay.
This on the train
You're a
today.
guy. I'm not. First of
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Mate, you're fucking shouting about Nagasaki, Hiroshima on the train. What the fuck are you doing?
You're not even Japanese. The Japanese are my homies, though. Look at them.
Yeah, because they don't know what you're saying properly.
They know exactly what I'm saying.
No, they can't hear what you're saying.
They know
on your
exactly
fucking
what I'm
live
saying.
streams,
They
mate.
know exactly what I'm saying.
They can't hear you like yesterday
Yo,
on your live stream.
yo,
saying,
this going
"You're gonna sit
crazy."
Yeah, like this is crazy. Yeah, what the yo. It's just weirdos out there, bro. Just
I believe Johnny
weirdos.
Somali normally resides in the Americas, so he is normally used to being able to get off a lot of different things. It could be, you know, harassing a statue, touching these things inappropriately, saying or doing inappropriate gestures or words out in public. But in other countries, that stuff just doesn't fly. They have harsh penalties. And they have zero tolerance for people who disturb the peace. That's why in these situations, when he's gone up and so far with harassing these people, being a nuisance, being a peasant, they've even gone as far as to retaliate physically, which I don't necessarily condone, but in this situation, I could see exactly why it would happen. And they face no consequences because he's a dickhead.
Yeah, like I've heard this dude right here for like a couple years or so, and he's always on some negative weirdo. If people would like, if it's a skit, I get it. Almost, you know, skits better, and you know, if you actually can, you know, act it out, and it'd be funny as hell. But like just going up to random people and just like not even like in a funny way, just disrespectful, harassing, like the whole nine. Like you're a weirdo.
I hope nobody in the channel was saying weird shit. They might go back and try to Whoa, nigga, no, nigga, whoa, nigga.
And you would think that all of this physical endangerment that Johnny Somali catches himself in would have him stop. But he unearths an unspoken truth in the streamer and content creator world. The reason why they do these over-the-top drastic things. And it boils down to one thing and one thing only.
Nigga gonna come up to me, bro, why you being to other people in other countries? For money, for clout. I've said it many times. I don't give a fuck. I have no morals. I'm a fucking sociopath. I don't give a fuck. Put this in your next YouTube documentary. I don't give a fuck.
Now, I at least respect, and I use that term very loosely, Johnny Somali a little bit for keeping it a band here. He is doing this for the money, for the clout, for the paper, for the fame. And it's nasty because these platforms reward this type of behavior. Not only do they do it by the finances,
You
but
know how you make the stop? You know how you make all this Johnny Somali, the Neon back in the day? He's chilled out though. Shout out to Neon for actually getting a grip. Jack Doherty. You know how you stop these people? You stop paying them. You stop paying them for that type of content. But then it's like that's their creative whatever. But that you're harassing people. You're making weirdo jokes. You're like that's against the law. But yet these platforms reward it and pay people for it. So it's like, and then I've seen Stake and Rain Bet and other betting gambling sponsor these people. So it's like they're just gonna keep doing it. Money keeps making them do it more and more, and they keep getting more money for it.
System in which we are in, the ecosystem of all these other content creators and the audience rewards this by giving you viewership, by giving you super chats, donations, all these other things like that. There is big business in embarrassing yourself on stream and harassing other people. And I think that that's absolutely wrong. I think that these platforms should take this way more seriously because it couldn't have and shouldn't have gotten to where Johnny Somali actually is where he is today in a labor camp. But the reality is that him and other content creators have realized that, hey, if you poke and you prod and you antagonize, then you will be rewarded. But what's that old phrase? All that glitters ain't gold, and sugar can turn to shit really fast. I think that this is the quickest way to flame out. There's no longevity in doing some of these types of antics and content, but as somebody who sees the dollars and cents, you know, I see why people turn this route. Now, ultimately, Johnny Somali's antics do lead to him being arrested. He also got banned from the platform Party, which is another offshoot streaming platform for those that are just the craziest people in the world, I know, for dancing in Korean streets shirtless, pointing at people, laughing at people, antagonizing people, etc., etc. Again, I know that those are things that normally fly in America, and there might be somebody who's looking to defend him out there, but hey, if you're in their house and you're playing by your rules, well, you better take your shoes off at the door, gang, because these other countries just don't fucking play. Now, you would think running into some sort of legal troubles and also running into the platforms that he streams to would have Johnny Somali take a different stance. Hey, this is getting really serious, and these platforms are also giving me slight suspensions and bans. Therefore, I should probably change the type of content that I do and the way that I conduct myself. But that's not what he did. Johnny Somali's original trial drug on for months at a time. He was trapped in South Korea, and the weight of the situation kept growing bigger and bigger and bigger. He was facing a shit ton of money, $2,000 in fines. He was facing some jail time. He was already banned from Twitch. He was looking at being banned on
too. Like if you go out harassing people and you got like cases against you and shit, that shit costs money. So all the money you made, you just gonna throw it right back. And like he just said, bro, just said it. There is no longevity in this shit. You will be will laugh at you. Well, not me, but other people will laugh at you, make fun of you, bring you on just to embarrass you, because that's what your whole thing is. And then you'll be fizzled out and gone, unless you do like Neon, where he did it. You know, I don't support anybody that does it, but he was going nutty, crazy, saying crazy shit, and then all of a sudden he just started turning it around. Like
Kicked, and he eventually does get banned on Kick, and he also gets banned on Party, and these were the only ways that he could have made up some sort of money. Now, shout out to content creator Atozi, somebody that you guys probably already watched, but he gave us an insight as to what was really going on behind closed doors. Like I said, Johnny Somali didn't change his act or his gimmick not one bit. Facing everything that he was facing in South Korea, he never once shifted off of his position as being this nuisance guy, not thinking that they would ever, and I do mean ever, take any of this seriously.
Right here, you see that 7-Eleven right there is where pretty much the most hated live stream in the world made one of the worst decisions of his life by deciding to getting belligerently drunk, throwing noodles around, and then cussing out an elderly store employee. This basically kickstarted his downfall here in Korea because it was after that incident that things started to crumble together for him.
Leave the old people alone, man, too. Like, damn, man. Like, leave the old grandmas and grandpas alone, bro. They ain't got much time left. He's over here fucking with them shit.
Again, 10:09, Ramzi Khalid Ismail is called to the stand. His lawyer informs the judge that he is attempting to contact him. The lawyer finally makes contact with Ramzi and informs the court that he will arrive 15 minutes late. Johnny has still not appeared in court. Given that he was drinking all night, it is possible that he is still intoxicated. His lawyer appears to be attempting to sober him up. 11:09. Ramzi enters the courtroom looking very rough. He is wearing an ill-fitted gray suit that is too large for him and a red MAGA cap. As he enters, he smirks at Atozi and me. In an attempt to appear confident, Ramzi fails to follow courtroom protocol. He is told to remove his hat, which he does. However, while smirking at Legal Mindset, he absent-mindedly puts it back on. The court officer immediately instructs him to remove it again. He then attempts to sit in the interpreter's seat and is told to move. He once again glances at Legal Mindset, smirks, and sticks out his tongue. The judge and prosecution observe everything. After the hearing, a journalist asked Ramzi why he wore a MAGA cap and kept putting it back on. Ramzi responded, "Because I can do whatever I want. Korea is a vassal state of America."
The Korean government is trying to tell Johnny Somali that this is not anything to play with and that they are dead serious. But the problem with this style of content that Johnny Somali saw himself doing on a daily basis is that it infects and impacts your brain waves. Now, I'm not saying that Johnny Somali didn't already have something going on with himself. I could see that from the jump. But because he thinks that everything is content, it's all a prank, none of it's that serious, it seems as though it starts to impact his real life judgment making. When they put cameras in front of Johnny Somali's face, he instantly turns on and starts snapping at like the US embassy and the president of Korea. Nothing that he did was smart or made his position and situation any better.
I don't give a fuck, nigga. Hey, send this clip to the president of Korea, nigga. Send this clip. I'm talking to you, the president of Korea. You can suck my dick. I respect Kim Jong-un more than you, Lee Jae-myung, little bitch-ass nigga. Facts, nigga. Let me drop a on this thing. I'm not in a threatening way. I'm dead ass, nigga. Send the clip. Send, nigga. Send. I'll go to the police station tomorrow, nigga. The police already investigated me for being a North Korean spy, nigga. Has been planted. And y'all don't know nothing, nigga, man. We're not gonna do that shit. I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be in America.
Threatening to cause harm to the president of a nation is probably the stupidest thing that you can do, especially one that is surveilling you as you are actively on trial for the exact same things, for being a nuisance on stream. Like, he doesn't care about his life, his safety, his health, his well-being. But what he does care about are those numbers running up on these live streaming platforms. What he does care about is the thrill that he gets when these lights come on and when these cameras are present. What he does care about is all the potential donations that he may get by doing some sort of crash out or saying the most outrageous thing. I told you that it happens every time that a camera is placed in Johnny Somali's face. And even as the judge was deliberating, after we had heard all of the testimony and it was already looking bleak for Johnny as he was being a nuisance in the courtroom, he is still, and I do mean still, taunting and going crazy in the courtroom waiting area while the judge is deliberating his final sentence.
Shout out to President you. Fuck the judge. Fuck the prosecutor. Y'all can suck my dick, bitch ass niggas. Yeah. Suck my dick on soft. Causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my dick. I'll bring a fish to your mother's house, bitch. I don't care. One
of the reasons why I say that it was this big bad act and he's one of these big bad actors when it comes to being on camera is because when the cameras were off, and we know this because like Legal Mindset and Atozi and some other people were in the audience, they discovered that Johnny Somali was playing this sad little boy with a small violin type of gimmick. He was asking the judge and the listeners on saying that he needs like a second chance. He needs an opportunity to do better. He's tremendously sorry. He has family back home. He needs to have the opportunity to change his life. He even went as far as to say that he was a student, as if the judge couldn't verify any of this.
Final court day for Johnny Somali. This was the sentencing, and he was arrested. When he walked in, he didn't have eye contact with anyone. He was just kind of staring straight forward down towards the ground.
and it looked like he just saw a ghost or something like that. Yeah, no, I mean, he didn't even try to insult the judge. He was very comfortable insulting the judge on his live streams, but he was respectful here. He was extremely stressed out.
Something I've never seen before. They said, okay, are we going to release you right now and then arrest you later and bring you to prison, or are we going to bring you to prison on the spot? And they had him sit in the witness stand and make his own case for why they should not put him in prison immediately. He lied about being a student. He said he's still going to Arizona State University. And that, in my opinion, that was kind of a test from the judge, because the judge knew that he's not a student.
A flat out lie. Like, it doesn't serve any sort of purpose. And this is what I can't stand
You lied
about
on the stand, too. That's the craziest part. You lied on the stand. I don't know what it is in South Korea or, you know, whatever they have going on over there as far as court-wise. But you don't fuck with God. You put right hand on the Bible or right hand up, swear on God that you gonna tell the truth, and you don't tell the truth.
All of these nuisance streamers and content creators of the Johnny Somali ilk. Apparently, a lot of them are one way on the camera and then one way off the camera. They're much more tame and much more civil people off camera. You know, somebody that may even be enjoyable to be around. I couldn't even think to say that about a Johnny Somali, but it may even be true. But on the camera, they decide to push buttons because they don't have any real entertainment value. They're not informative. They don't bring anything to the table for real. The only thing that they actually do in this situation is antagonize, is push buttons, is get people to watch the train wreck of it all. Well, now, buddy, we are here. The pileup is in front of you, and you are about to join what's going on. After not believing this situation in which he is supposed to be some sort of student and all this other nonsense that Johnny Somali was saying in court, he has officially been sentenced, and it doesn't look good at all.
Hey guys, we're right outside the Seoul courthouse, and Johnny Somali has just been sentenced to, what is it?
6 months and 20 days of prison with labor.
Yes, sir.
Also, he has sex offender status, so he can be nowhere near women, children, anything like that during the pendency of 5 years in Korea. Temporary prison will decide where to send him, and then they're going to send him to a specialized labor prison. He will not be going to the foreigner-only prison, but a specialized one for prison labor.
Now, I will offer this. I did look up some sort of South Korean labor prisons to understand exactly what was going on. And for what it's worth, they're taking these people and they're having them work jobs like construction or, you know, welding or really, I'm about to label out like different types of construction. But at the end of the day, it is still prison. Sure, he might walk out of prison with some sort of skill to help society, which should be a good thing. It should really be a good thing. It is prison nonetheless. These are years of his life that he is going to sit behind bars, not being able to do all the things that he wanted to do, live a free life. And it was all for some super chats, some bits
What y'all
on
don't
Twitter.
know still is like they can still build a case while he's in jail and give him more while he's in jail. That's what sometimes they do. Because it gets them to stay in one spot where they can't move. So now they can really investigate. Because when they're moving all over the place, doing new stuff this day, new stuff this day, it's really hard to keep up. But when they're in jail and there's no transactions coming to them, they're not moving, they're always in the same place, you can actually investigate these motherfuckers. So it might be getting worse.
Donations to Cash App and PayPal on Party and Kick and stuff like that.
People always ask me, are you going to jail or not? And I just say, I don't know, man. And I really don't know. Like, I don't want to scare you, but damn, dude, I don't know what's going to happen in either direction.
Oh, I'm pretty confident.
The problem with Johnny, just like the problem with other creators of his same ilk, is that they're so entitled and so arrogant that they think they're untouchable. They think that there is no governing body over their actions. Just before Johnny Somali was locked up on one of his last live streams, he was even seen taunting Korean government about their strength and inability to really pass down any harsh sentencing.
You guys think you could win a war against a little black man, a little green goblin, a little gold goblin, actually, from the Outlaw 4. You know, you guys lost to so many countries in the past. So you guys think you can win against me? You're not going to win against me. So I am a very formidable enemy. So it's better for you Koreans to apologize to me. Instead of me apologizing to you, you Koreans should apologize to me. I'm going to show you guys how far I can push the boundaries, and I'm going to show you that the Korean government is not going to do anything to me because I'm an American citizen.
Like, why would you say that? And you're a nuisance streamer. You think anybody in America gives a fuck if you get locked up? Look what we did. Look what we left. what's his name? Vitali? I don't know what the weirdo's name is. We left Vitali over there. We didn't give a fuck about him. He came back. We still don't give a fuck about him. Like people would just be too big of themselves. They think we care or something.
The Korean legal system is not as strong as people think and perceive it to be.
I will give Johnny a little bit of credit here. He is kind of right in some of his sentiments. If this is the punishment that is delved out, then I think that the Korean government could be stronger on him. Look, I'm not somebody who is an advocate for prison at all, but somebody who is gloating about being an American, saying that another country isn't strong, totally disrespecting an entire nation and its people, its government, its systems, its beliefs, its
Lock his
morals,
ass
its
up.
values, it's all these
Lock
things
his ass
because
up.
you want to get some content off for some ignoramuses on party is totally disgusting. What people like Johnny Somali don't understand is he'll be a case study at the next couple of conversations that Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Rumble, and all these other parties and platforms have going forward. He thinks that he's just going to be made an example in Korea. Well, I guess he didn't think so, but now he's going to be made an example in Korea, but he's going to be made an example across the streaming platform. If you do fuck around, you will find out. I don't think that he even understands that post-prison life, it's not like he's going to be allowed to come back on these platforms. It's bigger than just the 6 months. It's bigger than just being put on the offender list,
you're
which
screwed,
I think is
buddy.
absolutely crazy,
You're
but I do
done.
expect him to quote unquote
Anything
flee
you
the
put up
country
or
as
trying to
soon
make
as
an
he
account
is
for,
able
blocked.
to be released from prison.
Criminal.
Johnny Somali has
Federal
effectively
criminal.
ruined his life because of this streaming and content creation shit. And for what? A couple months, maybe a year or two's worth of fame? I wouldn't even say it's true fame. I hope
it wasn't even like he was famous. It was just like people knew him because he was doing wild shit. And like I said, and great video by Omizi. Great video. Always great videos. You know, he might not like my reaction channel or reaction channels in general, but it is what it is. But like, yeah, only a year or so of quote unquote fame, and now you're in jail 6 months in a labor prison in another country where they don't speak English at all. And then on top of that, when you get out, you can't go back to streaming or doing any of this other stuff because they'll ban you. You're a felon almost. You're a sex offender. You can't go on stream. And then on top of that, your life is fucked, buddy. Not just for the streaming stuff, like making content and stuff, but like, you know, you're a sex offender. You're not going to be able to work at most places. You're not going to be able to make money. You're going to be on the side of the street where you belong. And I hope this video gets to him when he gets out. That's where you belong, on the side of the street, because you're fucking scum. Fucking scum. Piece of shit, man. Johnny Somali is a fucking dirty fuck.